Hello and welcome to another trip report. It is just about 5 AM and I'm at Minneapolis, St. Paul Airport here in Minnesota. Today I'm going to be flying with an airline that I've been wanting to fly with for a very long time. COUNTRY AIRLINES. We're taking one of their 737s across to Boston, just over 2 hours flying time. I'll be travelling in their first class cabin and I'm really looking forward to it. Enjoy the video. It's another early start for me here at Minneapolis, St. Paul. COUNTRY fly out of Terminal 2, the Humphrey Terminal, and their check-in is located just inside the front door. At this time of the morning, about 5 AM, it's completely deserted. If you do have a very early flight from this airport, I do recommend, if using Terminal 2, to bring something to eat and drink with you because there is not much open before 6 AM in Terminal 2. So today I'm flying in a product which you can no longer take. COUNTRY AIRLINES, which is a Minnesota-based holiday airline, decided this year they no longer wanted to serve first class on their aircraft, and they've now gone to an all-economy budget airline configuration. Okay, so we just got about half an hour until boarding supposedly starts here at Minneapolis, St. Paul. This flight actually leaves at 7:05, but the boarding time printed on my boarding pass is 6:20. Now, I don't think it's going to take 45 minutes to fill a 737, so I'm not expecting it to start on time. I've got a coffee and some time on my hands, and I just wanted to say thank you so much if you're subscribed to this channel. It really means an awful lot to me. I certainly couldn't be doing this hobby on the scale that I'm doing it at the moment without the support of this channel, without all of you guys who are, subscribing, watching my video and following me on other forms of social media. So anyway, just wanted to say that, and I'm gonna sit this out with a coffee. COUNTRY's livery is one of my favourite of any American airline. I love the colours and the fact that the sun symbol represents the fact that this airline exists to take people from the cold, frozen north of Minnesota down south on holiday. Most of you will know that Minneapolis St. Paul is a Delta hub, and therefore it's no surprise to see there are lots of Delta aircraft taking off and landing. I was lucky enough to see this FedEx MD-11. They have a base here at Minneapolis St. Paul. In case you're wondering, no, boarding didn't start at 6:20. It started with about 20 minutes to go till departure. Plenty of time to board a 737. The front three rows of this aircraft are first class and are in a 2-2 configuration, pretty standard for any American carrier operating first class within the US. Today's seat is 3A, a first class armchair that'll be more than good enough for this short hop over to Boston. The rest of the cabin is economy class, and the seats are configured in a 3-3 configuration. You'll notice there's no curtain or bulkhead separating first class from economy. COUNTRY name all of their aircraft after local lakes. This one here is Lake Minnetonka, and the one we're flying on today is named after Lake George. It's a very pleasant day for flying, so let's take a quick look at today's route. It's 1,123 miles today. We'll be flying at 35,000 feet and it'll take us 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to Boston. Sun Country doesn't have seatback TVs or Wi-Fi. In first class there's complimentary use of an entertainment device, but there is a charge for this in economy. The portable device also comes with some headphones in case you've forgotten your own. I found the entertainment selection to be quite limited and these screens are very reflective, not ideal on an aircraft with light streaming in the windows. First class customers on this flight were also given a cold breakfast tray. I feel it's important to state at this point that Sun Country is not a legacy first class carrier. It operates to different standards and it also has much lower prices, which we'll discuss at the end. Personally, I thought this cold breakfast was more than good enough for the 2-hour hop over to Boston and considering the low price I paid. The meal's finished off with a small mint. This costs almost nothing to provide, but is a nice way to end the meal. Something that intrigued me is why the fine for smoking in the lavatory is $2,200 and not a round figure like $2,000 or $3,000. It just bugs me. North America is a truly vast continent, and of course the best in-flight entertainment is always looking out the window. Here we are approaching Lake Ontario. It's a lovely day for flying, and I can just about make out Toronto Petersen Airport, which reminds me about how excited I am to check out Air Canada's 787 business class. I'll be flying it between Toronto and San Francisco in the spring of next year. This is downtown Toronto and you can just about make out Billy Bishop Airport. Now there's actually a flight from Billy Bishop Airport to a place called St. Catharines, which is pretty much underneath where the aircraft is right now. Total distance, just 38 miles. Sun Country also have an in-flight magazine called Connections. Like pretty much everything else to do with the service, it's kind of charming. Sun Country's route map shows just how much it focuses on holiday destinations. In fact, Boston and New York really stick out as being business related rather than leisure. If you're travelling in economy, which I guess everyone will be by the time this video comes out, you have to pay for your own food and drink. Here's the drink and snacks menu on board this flight to Boston. After a smooth and uneventful flight, we descend into the Boston area right on time. So onto what I paid for this flight. I paid £140 one way for this flight between Minneapolis and Boston. That is around about $180. That's very, very competitive for a first class product. As I said, Sun Country is not a legacy airline and that means they don't charge legacy prices. Whilst Sun Country are not the highest quality carrier you'll ever fly on your life, I do think they have a certain hometown charm that they've really cultivated. On a personal level, I am disappointed that they're removing first class. It had certain quirks to it that other airlines just don't have. However, business is business, and if Sun Country think they're going to do better by having an all-economy cabin, then I wish them the very best in competing in the cutthroat world of the US airline industry. And there you have it, I'm now safely in Boston, Massachusetts. Next up, I'm flying JetBlue to Washington National Airport at Washington DC. That should be pretty interesting. It's one of my favourite airports to fly into. A really spectacular approach no matter which way you come into that airport. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Sun Country Airlines and their first class service, and let me know if you're disappointed that they're dropping their first class service or whether you think it'll be a good thing for the airline. Anyway, that's all for this time, and until next time, see you around.